Welcome to Smoky Mountain Taco. Today we're going to be cleaning up our spaghetti wiring mess from all of our accessories. We're going to be installing the IssyAuto fuse block bracket along with Blue Sea Systems fuse block and their circuit breaker. Now the thing that makes this different from all the others out there is that we have two bolts we can unmount over here and here, and if we do our wiring right, we can just unplug the wires and change out our spark plugs, do other work we need to do, add another accessory. But that's the key difference here. So one thing that I've done unique here is that I've mounted a Tacoma relay holder here, and on the side with L brackets, standard shelving L brackets you can get at any hardware store. And I've mounted that to the IssyAuto fuse block bracket, and I put my relays on it. It's a very custom solution. I'll show you how to mount it and everything in this video. So there's the fuse box and the circuit breaker, and I can turn the accessories on or off via that switch. You can see the two bolts there that we can unmount, and the two bolts over there that we'd unmount. And then with our wiring, we just unplug them and completely remove it and do whatever kind of work we need to get done there. All right, let's get this started. We're going to need M4 and M5 screws, lock washers and nuts, washers from any hardware store, ratchet with an extension, a 5 Allen socket or key, 10 and 12 millimeter sockets, wire stripper and pliers, heavy duty crimper, wire connectors, heat shrink wrap, wire cutter, 18 gauge wire, 10 feet red and black 6 gauge wire with terminals. Let's unbox this. Here's the IssyAuto bracket. There's the arm. That's how it attaches. There's our M4 and M5 hardware that we'll need. And the circuit breaker and the fuse box will tell you which ones should go in there. There's the smart glow fuses from O'Reilly's. They will glow if they go bad. So here's our 6 gauge wire. And obviously the red is positive, black is negative. We're going to mount our brackets for the relay holder. Well, there's the relay holder. You can see it kind of lines up with those two holes there. All right, we're going to take a center punch and punch where those holes go there with a hammer, so we can get a starting point for drilling. We'll just drill right through there. All right, we're going to use the M5 screws and washers, lock washers, and nuts to initially mount on the bracket. So it will be screw, washer, lock washer, and then let's put a washer on the other side along with the nut. The washer, screw a nut on there. We'll tighten that up later. Same thing. Alright, let's mount our other one. Well, this one will be a little different, and you'll see how that'll mount like that. Center punch, hammer. And we just measure the width from the where the reholder go. Let's tighten that up. All right, let's drill. All right, we'll mount this the same way. Okay, let's tighten it up. All right, that's not exactly going to work, so we're going to have to drill another hole here for the screw to go in. It's about 2 3/4 inches across and about 3/4 of an inch up. So we need to drill another hole for the screw for the fuse box. So let's take our center punch, put it in, take a 3/16 drill bit and drill. All right, let's mount this fuse box. And you use 3 washers of spacing on the positive side to even up the fuse box, because the end that's on that will hold the relays will be sitting up a little higher because of it'll be sitting on top of the screws that we just put in for the brackets. So use the long M5 screws on the end with the brackets. That way you'll have some extra room there because of the depth of the brackets. And it'll give you something to zip tie the wiring underneath to. All right, so let's tighten that up. Now let's mount our breaker switch. Or we'll take our M5 hardware and we'll mount the circuit breaker. Now I used screw, washer, lock washer, and then nut on the other side. Let's tighten it up. All right, we're going to wire up our 6-gauge wires. Now we have to take it from the load portion of the breaker and mount it to the fuse box. So that's what we're going to do right now. So you can take some wire cutters and just cut through the insulation and then twist it off. Don't cut it all the way through on the ends. That way you've got something sticking out there. All right, cut off some of the heat shrink. This came with the 6-gauge wire I bought. So you want to cut this maybe 2.5, 3 feet, and it's always better to cut more because you can always trim excess later. And you'll need some heavy-duty crimpers here. So I'll put a link to this in the description below as well if you need some. So we'll do one side and then we'll do another side, getting essentially all 4 corners. Repeat the same on the other side. All right, let's get a lighter and then flame it up to shrink it. So we'll, like I said, we'll wire this to the load from the fuse box. And we'll use the supplied hardware for this, for the fuse box and the circuit breaker. Right, we'll wire the line to the battery and cut off enough where it will make it from the fuse block bracket to the battery, but give yourself plenty of excess because you can always go trim later. Now let's do the -6 gauge wire. And this will mount to the negative side of the fuse block. It's the opposite side where you see that there on the positive. Let's get our insulation in. Let's heat that up to shrink it. And this insulation comes with the 6 gauge wire I bought. Let's crimp it on both sides. We'll do this, then twist it and get the other side. Make sure it never comes off. There you go. Let's heat that to shrink it. All right, let's mount it. All right, let's tighten that up a little bit, but we'll move it if we need to later. All right, let's put the cover on, see how it looks. Okay, we'll zip tie these wires underneath, and we may move that negative wire later. All right, let's mount the arm to the bolt in the engine bay. It takes a 10mm socket. Just loosen it up. You don't have to take it all the way. Okay, place the arm on the loosened bolt and just tighten it up. But give yourself a little room and slack so we can get it mounted to the tray. All right, let's disconnect our battery. All right, disconnect all your accessory and auxiliary wiring from power sources, battery, add a circuit, and ground. Just go ahead and remove them all, get them ready to transfer over to the fuse block. Depending on how many you got, it might take a while. So cut the positive and negative end of each accessory and strip off the ends. Okay, I picked these connectors up at O'Reilly's. You can see them here. And this will allow us to disconnect if we need them fairly quickly. So let's crimp them. Make sure they don't come off. Do both the positive and the negative. Get them nice and tight. All right, that's not coming off. All right, create the female connector for both positive and negative for each accessory that'll connect to the fuse box, about 3 inches long. So strip off both ends. We'll put the female connector on one end and a round terminal on the other. So there's a round terminal. Let's crimp it. Get that nice and snug where it will never come off. All right. Let's get our female connector from O'Reilly's and put it on the other end. And do this for each accessory that you have. So this is how they'll connect. So for the negative side, add a heat shrink wrap. I got mine at Harbor Freight. That it's really just to distinguish positive between negative. So let's wire the negative connector up. Just screw that on. You can see it hanging through there. So let's wire the positive side up and do this for each accessory. Okay, so here's an example. So you'll have positive, negative on both sides, but note the fuse amperage for each accessory you have. And then with our smart glow fuses, we'll get the right amperage fuses. And the great thing about these, if they ever go, you'll know it because they'll glow. Connect each positive accessory to the connector. And then do the negative side for each accessory. All right, let's mount our relays. We'll just drop them in on there. You know, you may have to take out the metal clip with some pliers if you haven't already done it, and just push them down on it. So now zip tie and organize the wires underneath the tray from your accessories. Get them all nice, neat, and organized, all pulled together. You could easily get them out of the way. Just move it aside if you need to dismount. All right, let's mount the tray to the Tacoma. There'll be 2 bolts on the side. And you can just use the relay mount bolts that came with the relay holder to mount it there. And now let's mount the tray to the arm using the provided Allen key. And if you can see there, I've got the switch for the circuit breaker there turned off. All right, let's wire to the battery. So let's put a terminal on the end of that. Crimp it. The other side. Make sure that it never come off. And you can see how to look there. Let's put some flames of this to get the heat shrink going. let's get this organized wire. So you can see there the circuit breaker is turned off. I want to point that out before you hook this up to the battery. So get that to where you like it, nice, neat, and organized. Just wire it up to the battery. Now let's connect to the ground. So over there on the side of the Tacoma is where we mount all of our ground. And we'll just mount the -6 gauge to the side of the truck. All right, remount our EMP blocking system. Okay, attach the cover. And now be sure to turn the breaker on. All right, check this out. There's our relays. See the fuse block, EMP blocking system. Be sure to check out that video. There it is, fully installed. Nice, neat, and organized. Nice.